What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover with our Turtles of Grayskull Wave 2. So in this wave, we've got Raphael, so we have another turtle where he's got more armor, very similar to Ram Man, so that'll look cool. And speaking of Ram Man, we also have Ram Man that's been mutated, so he's now turned more into like a ram or a goat, so that looks cool with him. Then we've got Shredder, that looks awesome, wearing more of like a Hordak style armor, but still with some Shredder details. And finally, we have Beastman in a samurai armor design, and there's actually part of the story, I guess spoiler, that he actually turns good, so he turns against Shredder and joins up with the turtles, so that's why he has the samurai armor there. So all four of these look really cool, and I'm super excited to check this wave out as well. So let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off with Raphael, who's the hard-headed Psy specialist. Now in this form, he's wearing the armor of Ram Man, or at least very similar to Ram Man. So he's got the helmet on his head, again, very similar to what Ram Man has. But I love how the top has the more like turtle shell design and in red as well. And of course, you can see the face. We can take the helmet off and see Raphael's face there. So he has the red bandana on his green turtle skin. And then it has the tails coming off and blowing in the wind. So nice design for that. Then, like I said, he's got the armor very similar to you see with Ram Man. I love again the red like jewels there on his chest, and of course that goes back around to the turtle shell on the back. And then he's just got his turtle skin, so we get the green skin running down to his hands. You can see the front shell that they have in the yellow there. Love like the cross straps coming across here down to the belt where they have a turtle shell design, and again in red with some like the leather material sort of hanging down there in the front like loincloth style. Then up on his left shoulder he does have a turtle shell armor, and then has red bands around his wrist all the way down to the feet where they have like the fur boot designs but in red with some brown stripes, and of course their open toed feet there with their two toes. So it looks pretty decent overall. Again, very similar to the other turtles where they take the turtles and give them some armor, very similar to another character from the He-Man series. So overall I think this looks pretty good. Now, movement wise, we get that'll rotate all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so not a whole lot of range of movements. And of course, the band gets in the way, but it easily twists around so you can get in any position you want there. But then we go down to the shoulders that do come up to 90 and can rotate around within the armor there. Then we get the single elbow joint that bends close to 90 with the rotation, and the wrist will twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the twist at the waist, so it'll twist all the way around, and again, love the separation of the straps there, so still twist. But then the hips can come up pretty close to 90, like that's as far as I can go, just about that far, and then out to the side. We get the single knee joint that bends back that far with the rotation, and of course when it's twisted there, but it'll rotate when it's more straight. And then we get the twist around at the top of the boot as well, with the foot flexing back and forth and twisting side to side. So it works out pretty decent. It's going to be the same for pretty much all the figures. They almost always have the exact same movements. May have some changes here or there depending on the figure, but overall I think he looks pretty decent. In the Ram Man, I love the color, of course, with this bright green that he has in the red. It stands out quite a bit. But we can put the helmet back on his head, and it just sits on his head. You just got to kind of get it back behind the armor, of course, around the bandana tie as well, and then just slide it down on his face. So it doesn't really sit on the best, but if you get it under the armor and stuff, it kind of helps hold it on there. So there we have Raphael's Ram Man, so he can be ramming people now as well. But we can give him, of course, his signature weapon of the sai. So we get this sai, which looks almost more like a sword with the long blade on it, but still looks pretty cool. Still has the three prongs similar to a sai, so we can put this into his right hand. Well, actually, I put it in his left hand because of his other accessory, which we get this hand claw thing, which is cool. That has the three prongs similar to the side, so it's got the nice blades there, nice like thick blade as well, with the two off to the side. Now, this is just a hand piece that goes onto his hand, so it's made for the right because it does have a right hand design, so the two fingers and the thumb there, so it's got to go on the right. But it's cool. It's almost like a stump, you know, if like get your hand cut off, you put this on the end of your hand as well. But it's cool. He doesn't have to have that, but you just slide this on his hand, and now he has this big claw as well, which is pretty cool. So it's going to be hard to fight, you know, it's hard to really pose anything with this big long claw piece, but it is cool that it has this design. I think it looks really cool. And there we've now got Raphael all kitted out with his two sai weapons, and looks pretty cool overall for that. Now, of course, we can also take this sai out of his hand and store it down here in his shell, so we can store it in the back there, or we can even take the shell off of his back and then put the shell into his hand as a shield like we did with the past turtles. But I think I'll just leave the shell on his back this time, but cool that it has those different options. I love how the shell can always come off and turn into a shield, but I think just having him the way he is here is really cool. And of course, now that we have Raphael, we can bring in our other 2 turtles from the first wave. So here he is with Donatello and Leonardo. So there we've got 3 of our 4 turtles, with Mikey coming out in the next wave. So it's cool to continue to build out our turtles with all of them looking cool with their MOTU inspired armor. And next up, we have Ram Man, which is the Eternian human battering ram that gets transformed by mutagenic ooze into a goat or a ram and gets brainwashed to serve his master Krang. So this looks pretty cool. So we have Ram Man. So we pretty much have all of Ram Man's body just with this mutagen transformation into more of a goat. So he's got the goat horns and ears coming off the side and like the Billy Goat like beard there in the front. So that's pretty cool. But then the rest of his body just looks relatively normal. Now he does have 3 fingers this time, but he still has a see-through body similar to what we had with the He-Man, although this one's much more see-through, but with like the green veins or whatever it is running through. You can see it there around his neck and on his arms, so that's cool. And then we go down to his feet where he's got more of like goat feet now, so got the hoof feet with the, you know, sort of the backwards leg design stuff, so that looks pretty cool. But like I said, everything else about him is just wearing Ram Man's armor. So he's got the Ram Man helmet on, which is cool, of course, so he can be ramming now, and now with those ram horns or goat horns, that's pretty cool and adds more detail to that. Love the red eyes, and of course the mouth design with that goatee always looked pretty cool in there as well. Like I said, all the veins running through his more see-through body with the Ram Man tunic over the top. So he has this orangish red, brown, whatever you want to call it, sort of tunic on over the top that comes down and hangs down at the bottom with the bulb designs, belt around the waist with the ram's head on his belt buckle there, and the big metal armor up on his shoulders. Just looks like the spikes are much bigger now with a chain hanging down, and that goes out to the back where we do have a holder for his weapons there. And then he does have a springy leg pants, so the green pants that are always the segmented tubing design all the way down to the wraps around the top of his legs in black with the studs on them, and then has some bracers on his arms there as well. So overall, this is by far the coolest looking figure I think of the wave. I just love the design of it, incorporating Ram Man into an actual ram. But for Moon's, get his head that'll twist around. Of course, it won't twist all the way around because of his goatee. So maybe if you get it lifted up, yeah, you can sort of force it around there. If you lift it up around there, but then you can look down that far again, just the goatee's hitting on his chest, and then up that far. So a little bit of movement back and forth. Then we get the shoulders that come up. Of course, they only go down that far, just the way it's designed. It won't go any further down than that. So they do stick out to the side, unfortunately, but it can come up to 90 and of course rotate around within there. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation, and of course with the see-throughness you can see all the joint designs, and the wrist will twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we get the twist around at the waist, so it'll twist all the way around, and then the hips will come up. Of course with the skirting piece it's hard to really get it much further. It can come up a little and then out to the side, just a little back and forth. Then we get the knee joint that's barely anything, it just moves back a little there, but there is a twist in it as well, so it'll twist around, as well as a twist below the back that the leg will twist all the way around at like the shin, and down to the foot that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So overall it's a similar body design to all the others, so nothing new there, just his arms stick out a little more. And I love the see-throughness and the design, incorporating the goat into it. Looks pretty cool overall for that. But then we can give him his weapons, so he's just going to come with the normal weapons of Ram Man. So we get the 2 axes, so we get the battle charger axes as they're labeled. So we get the more single-bladed axes, or the double blade like battle axe that we can put of course into his hands. So now wouldn't it be more terrifying to have this goat like man charging at you with 2 axes in his hands? Just crazy cool look at design. And as I mentioned, of course we can take one of the axes and put them there in the back as well if we want to store them on his back. So Ram Man just looks crazy cool here. Such an awesome design. Again, love the like purple see-throughness of it that they're doing for these. Of course I think there's also Merman and Mossman that were mutated as well, so we'll have those coming up. But I don't think they have much of the purple design to them, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But with having Ram Man now, we can also bring in He-Man that also got mutated. So you can see the purple design with the green lines all over him, so very similar design for that. Although he is a little bit of see-through, he's much less see-through compared to Ram Man here, which is really cool. You can completely see through him, which is awesome. So this is by far the coolest figure. Just love the design of incorporating the Ram into Ram Man. He was always one of my favorite MOTU characters anyways, so having him in this form now just looks amazing. And next up we have Shredder, which is the evil master of ninjutsu. Now he's wearing more of Hordak's armor, so he's got the Hordak cape and like front cover piece, but instead of course the Hordak logo, we have the Foot Clan logo, so that's cool that he's got that. And then he's got pretty much Shredder everywhere else, so he has the helmet of course with a different design on, but it looks crazy just with like the pointiness of it. It does have more of that Hordak design, like especially in the eyes, and I could see it in the mouth there as well. But of course the all metal like samurai helmet, that looks cool with the points coming on it, the segmented armor pieces hanging down, just looks cool with that design. Of course ours does have some paint issues, so there's some red on the front, so it looks like he's all bloody, which is kind of cool, but also wish wasn't there. Like I said, the chest armor with the purple this time, again very similar to what Hordak wears, and then has the armor going down the arms that we see with like normal Shredder, so where he's got the armor with the spikes on it, so we see it on the biceps and on the forearms as well, with the little spike claws coming out for the hands as well, so that is really cool with that design. Of course shirtless underneath, then going down to pants where he does have some of the old MOTU figures, like blackish, so it's almost like a really dark blue close to black underwear piece with the belt and fur, but then legs coming down. We get some of the similar armor on his shin, so he's got the armor with the spikes on it all the way down to the three-toed feet, so more similar to like we see with Hordak. So overall looks relatively cool. Of course just looks like Shredder, definitely not the coolest figure of the wave, but it looks relatively decent enough, so no issues with it. So his movements will likely be the same as all the others. The head will twist around, look down that far and up that far. So probably the best range so far. The shoulders can come up. Of course, you have to worry about his armor. So gets in the way of going all the way up to 90, but it can rotate around. We get the single elbow joint there that bends pretty much to 90 with the rotation, and the wrist will twist around and flex back and forth. Then we get the twist around at the waist. The hips will come up that far and out to the side. Single knee joint back with the rotation in it. Of course, there should be a shin twist at the top of the boot there as well. And the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So yeah, pretty much the exact same movements as all the others. A little bit better range in some places just because he has less armor and everything on him, but it still looks decent for what he is. Now for his weapons, we do get the Ninja Horde weapons of the battle axe. So just this big axe design that's got spikes all over, you know, to represent Shredder, and has more of that Foot Clan design on it. So it looks pretty cool for that we can put into his hand. So there Shredder has that axe, which looks cool. And then of course, being similar to the Horde and Hordak, we do also get the crossbow design as well that we've gotten with those past characters, so we can put this onto his hand. So there's Shredder with the crossbow and the axe, and again that looks pretty cool for him. Like I said, definitely not the most detailed or cool looking character. I just feel like they could have done more incorporating Hordak into it, but I still think it looks cool enough. You know, it fits for what it's supposed to and looks like it does from the little comics it comes with, so it carries off the look well enough. But pretty cool to now have Shredder added in so we can fight against the turtles. And our final figure of the wave is Beastman. He's the henchman turned hero. He doesn't like the foot and goes to He-Man to try and join them, and so they give him samurai armor with a turtle shell design. Now I read the mini comic that came with this, and it does have him running away because he doesn't like Krang and Shredder, so he goes to join up with the good guys just to defeat him. You know, he's not fully turned good, but you know, the enemy of my enemy sort of thing. But he ends up, I guess, like turning on them, so he leads the turtles into a trap, but he doesn't actually do anything, so there could be continuation on with the story where he does actually turn good. But yeah, from the story, he didn't really do anything. He just led them to fight, but then it was a trap for them, and he didn't, like I said, didn't fight them or anything. It didn't really show much of anything, just that he was there. So we'll have to see if it continues on, but it looks pretty cool. So it's going to pretty much just be Beastman, so we're not going to really see anything new or different. He just has the samurai armor on him, and again, it's supposed to have like the turtle shell design, which we can see like up on the shoulder pieces as well, where it's got that turtle shell design. And we get the nice samurai helmet up top, which looks cool with the nice spikes coming up. All that looks pretty cool, especially with the head ornamentation there. And again, it's a little bit of turtle shell design going around the head there, which we can easily then take that off. It just sort of basically just sits on his head. So you can take the Beast Shido as it's labeled, so you can take that off and just see Beastman's face. So again, looks just like Beastman, where he has like the fur piece around his neck with the spikes coming down the front attached onto him. So that all looks relatively the same, maybe a little bit different design, and probably switched out the colors more to match this, but it's going to be similar to the Beastmans we've seen before. And then we get the shoulder armor, so again, the big shoulder plating with the turtle shell design and the more hexagonal designs for like the jewels or whatever there on the side, so that's cool. Going down to the skirting piece again with that samurai like armor segmentation running through there, but it has a little bit of like turtle shell design to it as well. And then everything beyond that is just Beastman, so it's just normal Beastman figure. And then we get some weapon accessories that do vary it up a little bit, but mostly it's just Beastman that we've had with the MOTU line. But for movements, his head will twist around. Of course, harder will be twist with this thing around his neck, but it can at least twist side to side. You can look down that far, so pretty much where it was, and up a little. So very little movement just overall for the head there. We get the shoulders that come up. Of course, with this armor, it can come off his arm, but can at least get it all the way up, it looks like, to 90 there, and rotate around. We get the single elbow joint that bends close to 90 with the rotation, and the wrist will twist around and flex back and forth. Then we get a twist around at the waist. The hips will come up, of course, with the skirting a little bit hard there, but can at least come up that far and out to the side. Single knee joint back with rotation in it, and of course the shin twist around in there, and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So yeah, it has all the exact same movements once again. So that's the boring thing about these more MOTU Origins design things, that they all have the exact same movements just over and over and over again. So you don't really get anything new or different. But for his accessory, first we get a turtle shell shield. So a shield with the turtle shell design, so similar to what we see plugged into the back of characters. Actually, it's got still the plugs there. I don't think, yeah, he does anywhere to plug it in though, so you can't do that, but we can at least put this into his hand. So there he's got the shield in his hand. And then if you know, Beastman usually comes with a whip, so we get a whip this time of bladed whip. So it's got these little blades all over it, which look pretty cool. So nice, awesome design in the blue that matches, that we can put into his hand. So there's Beastman now with the shield and the whip, and of course we can put that helmet back on him. So there he is, all kitted out. And of course, it's hard to get the helmet on with the arm pieces just because they come up so high, so it's hard to really get it positioned properly on him. But if you mess with it, it can work out. So there we get Beastman now all kitted out with his turtle armor that they gave him. So looks pretty cool for that. So pretty much just normal Beastman, but just with some armor on him to make him look a little bit different. So there's our figures of Wave 2 of the MOTU TMNT Turtles of Grayskull line. We got Raphael and Ram Man design, Ram Man mutated into an actual ram, Shredder dressed in Hordak armor, and Beastman in samurai armor. So all four of these look really cool, especially love Raphael and Ram Man. Shredder, like I said, a little disappointing, but that is how he looks, so I can't really complain too much because that's how they designed him. But Beastman is cool that we just got normal Beastman with armor, but the armor isn't all that exciting, so I wish he was more mutated. It would be cool to have that. But all of them look pretty cool though, and nice to continue building out the line with more characters. So let me know what you thought of these four down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.